Now here's a show that really thinks outside the box. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 moments from Silicon Valley. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're taking a look at the best moments from the first 3 seasons of this HBO comedy series. Oh, and a spoiler alert is probably in order.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, agreed.
Number 10, panic attack diagnosis.
So, you will survive. It's just a garden variety panic attack. Welcome to Silicon Valley.
Whenever actor Andrew Daly pops up on this show, the results are always comedic gold. Daly plays Richard's doctor, who has the worst bedside manner imaginable. As Richard faces a life-altering career decision, he practically barfs up a lung. His physician writes this off as a garden variety panic attack, which is common in Silicon Valley.
We see people like you all the time.
The doctor adds to Richard's phobias when he tells him about another patient who was in a similar position. Long story short, he ended up shooting and accidentally blinding himself.
I guess he really regretted not taking that money.
He shot himself because he turned down the money.
As if that's not bad enough, the doc shows Richard the proper way to commit suicide and asks him to invest in his startup. No wonder Richard vomits again.
So will you please let me know, I'm gonna give you my number, if you do end up taking that $10 million, because we could really make the world a better place. Whoa! Oh, jeez.
Number 9, AT&T Park. After Richard hits it out of the park at TechCrunch, everybody in Silicon Valley wants a piece of him. Stern Taylor even invites Richard and company to AT&T Park to play with the San Francisco Giants. Needless to say, Richard isn't much of an athlete.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Whoa!
Just as Richard feels out of place on a baseball field, he isn't sure whether or not to accept so many extravagant gifts.
It's starting to feel weird letting all these firms suck up to us, even though we're not going to take their money.
Ehrlich, on the other hand, relishes as all these firms suck up to them. This opening to Season 2 has no shortage of memorable moments. As Guilfoyle and Dinesh compete for a woman's affection, Ehrlich spots the Winklevoss twins, and Richard realizes that everyone's watching him.
Damn it, where is that camera?
Number 8, the Pied Piper Platform Usability Test. Although Pied Piper has surpassed 500,000 downloads, the number of daily active users is surprisingly low. To figure out what's going on, a focus group is assembled to test the platform. They're totally freaked out, but in all the wrong ways.
What specifically totally freaked you out?
Everything. Just every single thing about it.
It suddenly dawns on Richard that he almost exclusively showed the Pied Piper platform to fellow engineers. Mainstream users, however, have no idea how it works. This leads to a hysterical scene as Richard confronts the group and tries to explain the platform.
You're right, it's not actually on the phone. But you don't need it to be on the phone. If you can see it on the phone, even though there's nothing there at all.
But where the hell is it?
It takes a while, but Richard eventually gets through to them and guarantees this isn't a Skynet situation. Unfortunately, he can't give this lengthy tutorial to everybody that downloaded Pied Piper.
Pied Piper will in no way become sentient and try to take over the world.
Number 7, they always travel in groups.
That's weird. They always travel in groups of 5.
People often think of tech billionaires as supreme overlords that look down on others from their ivory towers. While that might be a hasty generalization, it pretty much sums up Gavin Belson in a nutshell. The founder of Hooli, Gavin is constantly making hilarious observations about his employees. In the pilot, he can't help but notice that programmers always travel in groups of 5. But it's not just any 5 guys. Nope, it's a very, very specific set of 5 types of guys.
There's always a tall, skinny white guy, short, skinny Asian guy, fat guy with a ponytail, some guy with crazy facial hair, and then an East Indian guy. It's like they trade guys until they all have the right group.
Of course, Gavin's guru/yes man is there to feed his boss's ego and support his hypothesis.
You clearly have a great understanding of humanity.
Number 6, the binding arbitration.
I find Richard Hendricks did indeed breach his contract with Hooli when he hired away a Hooli employee.
At a binding arbitration, It looks like Richard is bound to lose Pied Piper's intellectual property to Hooli. Accepting the inevitable, Richard instructs his friends to wipe out the Pied Piper code before Gavin Belson gains control.
As soon as we run it, it will delete the entire code repository. Pied Piper will literally vanish.
In an unexpected turn, however, the judge rules in Richard's favor.
As a result, Hooli has no claim to ownership of Pied Piper's underlying IP.
The problem is that Richard's phone dies, with Pied Piper on the verge of deletion. This amounts to an uproarious and even exciting race against the clock. Richard faces one calamity after another, as he loses his car keys, tries to send an email, and winds up just running to the house.
Don't delete it. Don't delete it.
At first, it appears that Richard is too late, but luckily, Pied Piper is preserved thanks to Dinesh's garbage code.
The software you wrote to delete our software just shit the bed, no surprise.
Number 5. Richard blows their cover.
If anyone catches wind of anything that we've done here, we are f***ed.
This entire episode is like one big joke with a priceless punchline. Unwilling to build a box, Richard and the gang decide to build a Pied Piper platform in secrecy.
He thinks we're being good little boys.
The guys spend the whole night devising a foolproof plan to develop the platform right under Jack Barker's nose. The audience is led to believe that this is the beginning of a major story arc that'll progress throughout the season. Instead, we get the perfect anticlimax.
Oh, shit!
Oh, Richard.
Tripping over a hose, Richard accidentally drops several documents and reveals the team's plans. Thus, the top-secret project ends before it even gets started. Probably should have destroyed those documents at home, Richard. Not your smoothest move. Number 4. The driverless car.
Driverless car.
An autonomous car might seem like an incredible innovation. If this subplot proves anything, though, it's that driverless cars still have a long way to go. Jared is overjoyed when a self-driving automobile picks him up. Unfortunately, the car changes destinations to Peter Gregory's Island, which is over 4,000 miles away.
I'm sorry, what? Mr. Carr?
We know what you're thinking. How can a car drive to an island? Well, the car takes poor Jared to a shipyard and drives him into a cargo container.
Oh, no, excuse me, please?
Unable to open the door, he is sealed inside with a 103-hour journey ahead. It's a classic little problem that quickly escalates into a much bigger problem. Not to mention a definitive Jared moment.
Sailing takes me away to where?
Number 3. Ehrlich slaps a kid.
Hey! Which one was it?
Ehrlich is largely responsible for some of the funniest moments in the entire series, and this scene finds him at his absolute best. In desperate need of Adderall to keep his young programmer friend awake, Richard seeks out a young drug peddler.
Any of you guys currently on Adderall and, want to make $50?
When Richard learns that the kid ripped him off, he politely asks for some real Adderall. All he gets, though, is a demeaning slap.
I can give you some of this.
Ow!
Already full of pent-up frustration, Ehrlich comes to Richard's defense by smacking the little brat across the face.
You just brought piss to a fight, you little...
In epic fashion, Ehrlich tosses the kid's bike into the bushes and threatens his family. Ehrlich may go a little overboard, but it's beyond satisfying seeing Church Candy get his just desserts.
You get in your house and you get me 5 Adderall, or I'll slit your throat. You understand?
Number 2. Schrodinger's condor egg.
Hey guys, it's been almost 2 weeks since the mother condor's been to the nest. Do you think something might be wrong with the egg?
During a live stream of a condor egg, Jared fears that the baby bird isn't going to hatch. This, of course, sparks a conversation about Schrodinger's cat. Although the others advise Jared to leave it alone, he decides to call the museum, which results in the live stream being shut down. When a technician arrives at the nest, however, he suffers a great fall. While he doesn't die, it's still jarring to see Silicon Valley enter 127 hours territory. The fact that Jared is kind of responsible for almost killing a guy only adds to the dark humor. This is easily one of the most shocking moments in the series, but it still prompts uncontrollable laughter.
I just got a text from Richard. I'm not gonna read it.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, Here are some honorable mentions.
It never forgets. And I assure you, gentlemen of the Hooli board and lady, neither do I.
Don't tell me this is Zune bad.
I'm sorry, Gavin. It's Apple Maps bad.
They killed the Bambot.
Your Bambot. You little Stanford up my grill.
Fucking piece of
Number 1, the jerking off algorithm.
Welcome, everyone, to a journey into the nucleus.
I hope this sucks.
At the TechCrunch startup Battlefield, Pied Piper goes head-to-head with Hooli's Nucleus. While both applications have the same Weissman score, Nucleus has the upper hand thanks to several additional features. Brainstorming ideas for their presentation, Ehrlich suggests giving every guy in the audience a hand job.
We're gonna win even if I have to go into the auditorium and personally jerk off every guy in the audience.
This prompts an extensive conversation about how Ehrlich could jerk off every crowd member in 10 minutes.
So what we're trying to do, hypothetically, is minimize time,
Which is 800 dudes multiplied by mean jerk time divided by 4 dicks at a time.
The subject matter may be immature, but this is quite possibly the most brilliantly written scene in the whole series. Furthermore, it gives Richard a genius idea, as he realizes how to improve Pied Piper's Weissman score overnight. Sometimes, inspiration comes from the most unexpected places.
Threshold
God.
as a function of lambda sub I.
Such an idiot.
times
Middle
the
out.
previous work
Middle
done.
out.
Normalize
Middle
running the
out.
parameter
Oh my
and the
God.
subtext.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from Watch Mojo and subscribe for new videos every day.